Guantanamo. This will double our capacity immediately, right? And tough. That's a tough place to get out of.
Let's look at the map first. This is where Guantanamo Bay, or Gitmo, is located, on the southeastern tip of Cuba. It was leased to the United States way back in 1903. But Cuba's communist leaders reject American claims now. They say Gitmo is illegally occupied. Irrespective, the US controls this land. After 9/11, the US built a military prison there. Dozens of terror suspects were held in that prison. At its peak, nearly 800 of them. Now, Gitmo had a special purpose for the Americans. It was technically foreign land. American laws did not apply over there, so prisoners were put in cages. They were tortured, waterboarded, and electrocuted. Is that where Trump is sending these migrants? Thankfully, the answer is no. Gitmo also has a migrant detention facility. It is separate from the military prison. And this facility has housed migrants for decades, though very few of them. From 2020 to 2023, only 37 migrants were held at Gitmo. President Trump's plan is to ramp it up. He has option of a much larger facility with a capacity of 30,000 beds. Trump says this facility is only for criminal migrants. But still, there is some confusion, like how long will the migrants stay there? Will they serve out their sentences, or will they be deported? Trump's new defense secretary says it is not permanent detention. It is more of a temporary transit, a holding area before deportation.
It's folks who maybe are in transit to their home country or a safe third harbor country, and it's taking a little time to move with that processing, with the paperwork. Better they be held at a safe location like Guantanamo Bay, which is meant and built for migrants, meant and built to sustain that away from the American people as they are processed properly to where they came from.
Cuba has slammed this move. Their president lashed out on social media. He called it a brutal act by Trump.
There are 32,000 color palettes in the world. It's not just black or white. There are multiple ways to make sure that the world remains globalized.
But let's get a couple of things straight here. These are criminal aliens. No country will tolerate illegal migrants unleashing crime. It has every right to deport them. Having said that, a few questions still remain. One, why Gitmo? Why not a facility on mainland America? Maybe because it wouldn't have the same chilling effect. Everyone knows that Gitmo is notorious. So maybe the goal is deterrence, to make migrants think twice before sneaking into the US. The logic is sound, but the ethics, not so much. It reeks of secrecy and violations. The second question is, who will Trump send to Gitmo? He says criminal illegal migrants will be held there. Until now, that was a pretty clear definition. People convicted of crimes after entering the United States illegally. Those were criminal illegal migrants. But not according to the new Trump administration. They say every illegal migrant is a criminal. Listen to this.
Of the 3,500 arrests ICE has made so far since President Trump came back into office, can you just tell us the numbers? How many have a criminal record versus those who are just in the country illegally?
All of them, because they illegally broke our nation's laws and therefore they are criminals as far as this administration goes. I know the last administration didn't see it that way, so it's a big culture shift in our nation to view someone who breaks our immigration laws as a criminal, but that's exactly what they are.
The US law does not support this. In America, illegal migration is a civil offense. It is not a criminal violation. If you're caught, you are entitled to an immigration hearing. Only after that can you be deported. This is the existing law of the United States of America. If President Donald Trump wants to change that, he is more than free to do it. He's got a majority in both chambers of Congress. So why doesn't he take the legal route for this? Because even some Republicans, even people from his own party, do not like his policies. This is a classic shock and awe tactic. Do as much as you can before the system wakes up. Because Trump's case is very weak. He says there are millions of criminal illegal migrants in the United States, which is simply not true. In the past 40 years, 4 decades, there have been 425,000. And they're not roaming freely. They're serving sentences in American jails. After the sentence, they will be deported. If you add all of this together, one thing becomes quite clear. Trump's immigration plan is not a systematic one. It's a blitzkrieg. Dozens of lawsuits have been filed against it, especially the rapid arrest and deportation of migrants. If a judge blocks it, Trump does not appear to have a plan B. That's how things are at the moment. Let's see how long this crackdown lasts.
Patch 25, get the CRJ in flight. Patch 25, pass line with CRJ. Lucy 347, go around, climb, maintain 3,000, flight.
A deadly air disaster has taken place in the United States, right in the middle of the capital, Washington, D.C. 2 aircraft collided last night, just about 5 kilometers south of the White House. One was a passenger plane. The second was a U.S. military Sikorsky H-60 helicopter, better known as a Black Hawk. The crash took place just beside the Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport. Take a look at this. There were 64 people on board the passenger jet. It was a PSA Airlines flight from Wichita, Kansas to Washington, D.C. The journey was almost over. The plane was just about to land. That's when disaster struck. Now let's look at how this unfolded step by step. You can see that the signal was lost meters away from the airport. The plane was approaching the Reagan Airport. It was cleared for landing.
Yeah, we can do 33 for Blue 6342.
For 6342, that's a Wilsonbury change to turn for runway 33, clear to land.
That was the air traffic control tower at the airport, giving the flight permission to land. It was making its way to runway 33. This runway at an angle with the Potomac River. But just before the plane landed, ATC sent out an alert. ATC, of course, is the air traffic control. This was their warning.
Pass 25, get the CRJ in flight. Pass 25, pass behind the CRJ.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to use AI to do the code review for us. I'll be using...
That message was for a US military Black Hawk helicopter. PAT-25 was the chopper's call sign. The Black Hawk was conducting a nighttime drill. It was seen flying towards the PSA jet. So ATC asked the Black Hawk to pass behind it. This is what showed on the radar of the air traffic controller. You can clearly see the airport runways in the triangle pattern. The passenger plane had the call sign CRJ7. It was turning into the designated runway, which is runway 33, but for some reason, the helicopter turned in the same direction. It ended up in front of the passenger plane, leading to a mid-air collision. There was an explosion. Then both aircraft fell into the Potomac River. Emergency services were alerted immediately.
2048, we received an alert from the FAA tower of an aircraft incident involving a commercial aircraft and a helicopter. Our units immediately responded and deployed 3 boats and immediately called for mutual aid resources.
Search and rescue teams were mobilized immediately. Helicopters were providing searchlights from above. Divers were deployed on boats, but they faced an uphill task because the water was near freezing. Remember, this is Washington, D.C., the same place where Donald Trump was inaugurated just 10 days ago. He had to be inaugurated indoors because of the cold. The Potomac River is no exception. It has been oscillating between ice cold and frozen solid for days. And that drastically brings down the possibility of survivors. There were 64 people on board the PSA flight, 60 passengers and 4 crew members. The Black Hawk, the military helicopter, had 3 military personnel on board, so 67 people in total. 2 of them were Russian figure skaters, Evgenia Shishkova and Vadim Naumov. They were a married couple. They won the 1994 World Figure Skating Championship. They were on board the PSA Airlines flight, along with other Russian citizens. The Kremlin has confirmed their deaths.
Unfortunately, we see that this sad information is being confirmed. There were also our fellow citizens. Bad news from Washington today. We are sorry, and we express our condolences to the families and relatives of Russian citizens who lost their lives in this mid-air tragedy. For now, there are no plans for high-level contacts.
About 30 bodies have been recovered so far. The operation is still ongoing, but officials say that no survivors are expected. Emergency services are also looking for the black boxes from the aircraft so that they can determine what exactly happened. US President Donald Trump is demanding answers. He put out this post last night questioning the conduct of the helicopter. He believes the collision should have been prevented. but we'll have to wait a while for the official inquiry to finish. We will be tracking this story for you as it unfolds.
Okay, guys, today we are just doing exclusive streams. This is from the first spot, that's Palki Sharma, giving us the exclusive on the global tech. Okay, so guys, keep locked. You are getting global updates from Palki Sharma. That is the first spot from India. So guys, share the live, leave a comment. Tomorrow we'll be doing a live choreography. Today you're just getting updated with the world affairs. And tomorrow guys we'll be doing a live choreography dance. Yeah, in the studio with various guests. We'll be breaking down all the dance choreography step by step, guys. So you keep locked. Yeah, and to continue enjoying the news updates from Palki Sharma. Okay, guys.
We believe that there are at least 6 major developers who will be able to create foundational models in the next 8 to 10 months.
Engine, your personal AI assistant for the journey.
China's DeepSeek has shaken the tech world. It has rattled Silicon Valley and led to carnage on Wall Street. It has brought into focus the global race for AI dominance, and it has led Indians to ask, where are we in this race? Now, the government has joined this conversation. It says India is building its own AI model, one that can compete with the likes of ChatGPT.
We believe that there are at least 6 major developers who will be able to create foundational models in the next 8 to 10 months on the outer limit, and 4 to 6 months on a more aggressive estimate.
That was India's IT Minister, Ashwini Vaishnav. He says the government has identified at least 6 developers. They have 4 to 8 months to develop this world-class model, as he put it. The minister did not say who the developers were or what this project will cost. But this is perhaps the most significant declaration of intent from New Delhi. India wants to build an AI model of its own, one that can not only perform like the likes of ChatGPT and DeepSeeks of the world, but also cater to India's cultural diversity, something that is compatible with different Indian languages and may mitigate biases which have been seen in other AI models. That is what India aims to do, but how will it do it? New Delhi is taking a multi-pronged approach. For starters, it is involving private players to procure computer chips, the ones needed to build these AI models. You need special chips for them. Private companies are buying those chips. 10 Indian companies have managed to get almost 19,000 chips. The initial goal was 10,000 chips, to get 10,000 chips to India. But now Indian companies have got almost double the number, 19,000. Now, most of these chips are from NVIDIA, which is an American company making the most advanced chips in the world. As of today, NVIDIA is the gold standard for AI computing. So 10 Indian companies have got 19,000 NVIDIA chips. Now, the government is planning to consolidate these resources to build a common compute facility. Here, the private sector will use whatever it needs. At the same time, it will contribute to the computing power of the facility. What does that mean? What is a common compute facility? Think of it as a library, which is open to everyone in the community, where anyone can walk in, take a membership at a subsidized rate, and gain access to the books that interest them. The librarian helps you get the books you want. You pay for your membership, and this money is then pooled in to buy more books so that everyone can use them. That's typically how a library works, and that is how the common compute facility will work, with the government of India as its librarian. And anyone can be a member. Students, startups, researchers, companies, everyone will be able to access this facility. They will be able to use its superior computing power. build useful AI tools, and conduct meaningful research.
How
And
do
what's the fee to use this library of chips? Between $1 to $2 per hour. That's less than 200 Indian rupees. The Indian government is offering access to AI chips for barely a few hundred rupees. Globally, the prices are higher. Access to such chips can cost up to $3 an hour. In India, it is 40% cheaper because the government is subsidizing it. So how soon can India start this facility? The government says 10,000 chips can be deployed already, which is a pretty good number. Remember, ChatGPT was trained using 10,000 chips too. So India has the adequate computing power, enough to at least start building a model. New Delhi is also taking an inclusive approach with this AI project. It plans to deploy DeepSeek on Indian servers. That's the Chinese AI model, DeepSeek. It will now be available on Indian servers. Does this not pose a privacy risk? DeepSeek is, after all, a Chinese model. There are data risks associated with it. So will this move leak India's data to China? Experts say that will not happen. The makers of DeepSeek have released its code, so it is open source and open weight, meaning anyone can access and replicate it, and anyone can build on it. It's a bit like Lego. So India wants to use this base to build a different AI model, a model tailored to Indian needs without compromising India's data security. Basically, an Indian version of DeepSeek. Long story short, India is serious about AI development. It has adopted a comprehensive approach. The government is investing resources and funding key projects. It is engaging with the private sector. It is also studying existing models to learn and adapt. India's AI efforts are off to a good start, but it still has a long, long road ahead. The past few weeks have made one thing quite clear. No single player controls artificial intelligence. For all of America's advancements, there is no monopoly. And India is well positioned to establish itself in this space.
1 week. Sasa nikienda kulala ndani yake ina stream.
Meanwhile, OpenAI remains in news for all the wrong reasons. It's been a wild fortnight for this company, almost like a tech soap opera with fewer tears and more code. First, OpenAI jumped into a $500 billion venture, a project called Stargate. Then, out of nowhere, a Chinese AI model came swinging, a model called DeepSeek. It smashed OpenAI's dominance. In a plot twist, OpenAI CEO praised the competitor. Sam Altman is the CEO. He called DeepSeek impressive. It's like Ronaldo saying Messi's pretty good. But just when it was turning all wholesome, OpenAI pulled a fast one. They began accusing DeepSeek of copying their tech. They say the Chinese company used OpenAI's work to train DeepSeek models. OpenAI says it has the evidence. Now, this so-called evidence is not public yet, so we'll have to take their word for it, but it's hard to miss the irony here. OpenAI is having a meltdown. And why? Because someone may have done what they have been doing for years. This is a company that has been training on copyrighted material with no shame. Books, news articles, music, YouTube videos, even that high school essay that you wrote on Shakespeare. OpenAI has spared nothing to train its models. It has literally been ripping off other people's work to get ahead. So what's the fuss about now? And this is not even a secret. OpenAI's leadership has talked about it. Sam Altman himself has acknowledged it. So why are they playing the victim now? They should know the copy-paste button works both ways. And while OpenAI is crying foul, they're literally in the middle of a copyright lawsuit here in India. The case began last year. It was filed by news agency ANI. They accused OpenAI of improperly using copyrighted content. You know, like scraping and reproducing material from news websites without permission. Now, several Indian media giants have joined the case, including companies like Network 18 and other digital publishers. The idea is to hold OpenAI accountable. And what's the response? Well, OpenAI wants to block this bid. Some reports even suggest that Sam Altman himself is planning a visit to India. The last time he did this was in 2023. There were no legal headaches then, but this time it's a whole different story. And we can see why. India is ChatGPT's second biggest market after the United States. It cannot afford to lose this market. So between lawsuits and a new competitor, OpenAI was barely catching its breath when another bombshell dropped, this time from a former employee, a former OpenAI safety researcher. He has gone public. His name is Steven Adler. He left OpenAI last November. He called it a wild ride. Now he says OpenAI and other companies are taking a very risky gamble, especially with artificial intelligence, artificial general intelligence. That's the type of AI that could match or exceed human intellect in every aspect. Remember all those sci-fi movies with a villain robot? This is that stage, or at least that's what we are told. So it's a warning that AI could be moving too fast, and the consequences may be far more serious than we imagine. And that's the real question. Is OpenAI pushing technology forward, or is it pushing us over a cliff? This company wants to lead the AI revolution, yet it is fending off lawsuits, battling new competitors, and now even its own former employees are sounding the alarm. OpenAI may want to control the future, but right now it can barely control the headlines.
Things are driving me mad. Large objects, over 100 kilograms. Manual installation is impossible. But so what? There are always more solutions than difficulties.
To Canada now, where the political landscape is shifting in a big way. After nearly a decade in power, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is stepping down, which leaves a major question. Who will take over? The Liberal Party, which is Trudeau's party, is scrambling to find a new leader. And there are a few Indians in the mix, the likes of Ruby Dhalla, Chandra Arya, and Anita Anand. Will one of them make it to the top? We don't know yet, but with a potential no-confidence vote looming, their job might not last long. Our next report tells you more.
Justin Trudeau is on his way out. After 9 years, he's stepping down as Prime Minister. Which means one big question: who takes over? Canada's Liberal Party needs a new leader fast. The decision comes March 9th, and that person will be the Prime Minister. But for how long? The Conservatives want an election. Parliament reconvenes in March. A no-confidence vote could bring the government crashing down. So who's willing to take this short, high-stakes job? Several names are already in the mix. But a few Indian ones are making the noise. The first is Ruby Dhalla. She was born to Punjabi immigrants in Winnipeg. At the age of 10, she wrote a letter to then Indian Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. It was about Operation Blue Star, and Gandhi even personally replied to her. In 1993, she took part in the India-Canada beauty pageant. She even acted in a Hindi movie before becoming a chiropractor. Soon after, she ventured into politics. From 2004 to 2011, Dhalla served as a Member of Parliament for the Brampton-Springdale constituency. She made history with her tenure, and now she hopes to make history again by becoming the first Indian origin woman to become the Canadian Prime Minister. And what's on Dhalla's agenda? She's already made her key campaign promise. She wants to deport illegal immigrants and clamp down on human traffickers.
There are over 500,000 illegal immigrants in Canada. This is unacceptable. As the daughter of immigrant parents, I know firsthand that immigrants have helped build our great country. But we must clamp down on human trafficking and those that are here illegally. As your Prime Minister, I promise you, I will deport every illegal immigrant in Canada. Canada's comeback starts now.
But she's not the only Indian origin politician in the race. Meet Chandra Arya. He was born in the Indian state of Karnataka. In 2006, Chandra immigrated to Canada. He won federal elections in 2015 and 2019 and went viral in 2022 for speaking Kannada in the House of Commons.
ದೇಶದ ಸಂಸತ್ತಿನಲ್ಲಿ ನನ್ನ ಮಾತೃಭಾಷೆ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತನಾಡಲು ಅವಕಾಶ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿರುವುದಕ್ಕೆ
Now, he wants to be Prime Minister. His campaign promises include making Canada a sovereign republic, raising the retirement age, and introducing a citizenship-based tax system. But his campaign hit controversy when he dismissed the importance of the French language, a key requirement for the job. And that seems to have cost him. He has been barred by the Liberal Party. Chandra Arya has called out this decision, raising questions about the legitimacy of the race. The other big name making news? Anita Anand. She was born in Kentville, Nova Scotia. Both her parents are physicians. She started as a law professor Minister of Public Services and Procurement, where she was praised for securing COVID vaccines. In 2021, she became Canada's Defence Minister. Since 2024, she's led the Transport Ministry. Anand was a top contender for Liberal leader, but she's
gonna find money and go. Making money with me. Bro.
Like a boy.
Inaonekana hapo tukaa mjinga.
Axe to grind. They feel India propped up Sheikh Hasina's government, so now they want revenge. Look at all their recent moves. Last week, Bangladesh hosted a team of Pakistani spies, 4 ISI officers. ISI is the Inter-Services Intelligence. Before that, Bangladeshi military officers traveled to Pakistan. They met all 3 service chiefs there. The goal